Okay, here it is. Not to get off topic, but what does showing accountability in love look like? I'm referring to Galatians 6:1 because I think I stay silent a lot of times because I don't want anyone to feel judged. Okay, can you turn to Galatians 6:1? Because I already have some thoughts. Even though you're referring to that, I have an idea based on what I've read so far in the Bible, because this is not advice that I'm giving like, oh, this is what I would do. This is like from what I've read so far in the Bible. It seems like, so God's going to hold people accountable the way that they're held accountable through consequence, things like that. But as far as like showing accountability and love, I think it just looks like naming it, because there were a couple times where Jesus would answer people in questions, and I would think to myself, we haven't even gotten to the parts of the New Testament with Jesus, but what from the verses that I've read, and I've seen some similar things in the early parts that we've already read. It is like, sometimes Jesus will answer somebody with a question, which will answer their question. It's like the answer to they ask Jesus a question or they say something, then Jesus responds with a question, right? So now this is their answer. But in order to answer Jesus's question, you are now solving your problem, right? So it's almost like sort of like what our parents used to do, like, do you think that's the right thing to do or whatever, right? But like, I think that's what accountability kind of looks like. It's just like putting something in front of someone. So you're not telling them you need to go and do this or you messed up this way. It's just like, hey, you did this, right? So, or hey, do you think that was the best thing to do? I don't know how you would word it, but I think that's what accountability and love looks like, because it's really just, it's up for them to decide whether they want to, however they want to be, whether they want to be in sin or whether they want to be angry or irritated or however. But it's like, you're not holding them accountable in the way that you are responsible for their judgment. God's going to judge them. You're just holding them accountable in the way that you're saying the words, that you're saying, hey, it's Blue Shirt Tuesday, right? Just so you know, right? Like, I know you wanted to wear a red shirt today, and that's up to you. But I just wanted to let you know, like, it's Blue Shirt Wednesday or Blue Shirt Tuesday. And that way, it's like
Yeah.
you're not holding them to a stand, like, you're just repeating it back to them.
Yeah.
You're just showing it to them because maybe they didn't know. I think that's what accountability looks like, is that you're not gonna sort of like, and then sort of like from a harsher viewpoint, you're not just gonna get away with nobody saying something. And that's all there is to it. Okay. Nobody's gonna hurt you, but like, let's just talk real, right? Like, let's just say what it is. Okay. And I think that's accountability. But what do you think? What do you say?
Well, let's read the
now
verse.
Let's read the verse, because we didn't do that.
Might a little bit off.
Okay, I might be a little bit off.
Yeah. Brothers, if anyone is caught in any transgression, you who are spiritual should restore him in a spirit of gentleness. Keep watch on yourself, lest you be too tempted. So it's saying that.
Let's read it again. Sorry, because maybe I should read it in my version.
Yeah, because I think it's talking about holding people that love Christ accountable.
Okay, so other believers. Gotcha.
That's what I think it's
saying. I have read this before because
it's saying Christians is saying, I'm reading the study version. What it's saying is, Paul illustrates that he means by the life of the love of the Spirit. He describes general terms in the previous section. I think I say this all the time, and this is so interesting. So I made up this definition of accountability.
Yeah, you did.
And to hold somebody accountable. Remember, I said to be accountable, you need to walk in the Spirit.
I do remember you saying that.
Yeah, because walking in the Spirit is going to hold you accountable, because walking in the Spirit means you're fearing God, which we know gives you everything. When you walk in the Spirit, you're kind, you're not harsh. For instance, you can hold somebody accountable in the Spirit, and when it says be gentle to him and restore him, I think that is coming from love. So God tells us to bind steadfast love to our hearts, because if we keep our brothers accountable in love in Christ and we're walking in the Spirit, we have to be gentle with them, which means do not use harsh words. Be loving and kind, because that's who Jesus was. With other Christians are walking in the Spirit, I believe we haven't got to Jesus yet, but because Jesus is God, that's what God says, right? You need to be account. If you're walking in the Spirit, if we're walking in the Spirit, and I'm like, man, are you? Or you're like, honey, that's you're not walking in the Spirit by doing this. For you to talk to me about it, it needs to be gentle, soft, and the message needs to be delivered with steadfast love.